wake-up call, man. I am an FBI agent.
I know, man. Isn't it wild?
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
And welcome to the Mise en Scene / Scene Weekly podcast, where we generally and typically harken back to our college debate days and pick two movies with the same theme to battle it out in some way, shape, or form. And here we are. Season 1 is done, and Season 2 is coming, but we have decided to don our glasses. Some of us are wearing golden glasses, as you can properly see here, and have an award show of what we think to be the various categories that we've created, such as Best Picture and This Guy Is So Fucked and LOL Award and Scene Stealers and whatever comes to mind. But we have decided to cull and put together an award show for all you 200 people watching of our first season, or what we call seasons, and that is 25 episodes, which is your idea, Steven.
Yeah, it was a little brainchild of mine, a little shower thought that I had of like, hey, let's celebrate season 1, kind of put a bow on it, and kind of talk about our favorite, I don't know, moments, performances, dialogue lines, haircuts, whatever we want to talk about, we can talk about. Like that's the gist of it. So I think it'll be a fun experiment
In worlds of podcasting.
What are you drinking there, Jonathan?
A lemon spindrift, and I just got done with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. Shout out Professor Sifu Christian, and the first time since running Worlds.
This is our first kind of on-air convo about you coming back from Sweden. How did it go?
It didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but I got 7th place, and I don't have to go into the intimate details of this, but a little nerve-wracking. Got very intense at the end. I look very white. I don't know why I'm so white. Maybe these lights are too close. But yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. It was my first World Champs running for Team USA. Pretty proud. It was fun. And the weather just was like atrocious. But it was a lot of fun, leading up to it. Took some Morton's sodium bicarbonate, which I never had taken before in my life.
What does that do? And I have no idea.
Basically taking baking soda, and it's supposed to help process lactate. I don't know if it did or not. Maybe okay. I was supposed to actually run 9th place instead of 7th. But yeah, it was a very terrible windy day. It's 25-mile-an-hour winds, and we just got after it. First heat went, so there's 3 heats of 16 roughly, and the first heat I think ran 4:14. And so typically speaking, you want to be in the last heat, or at least you would hope to be. I was not. I was in the second, and I was just hoping in that point we'd go faster than the first. And they took it out. And I ran probably the worst tactically poor race I've ever run. Just got boxed in like twice. I don't know. I was passing people on turns. I basically didn't know how to run a 1500 at all. And leading up to it, I should have probably raced a lot more. Looking back, I think that was a bad decision not to race as much. And then I made it to the finals, but the third heat went so slow that I knew once I got done that I basically had made it. But waiting on that moment, that 10 minutes of like...
that had to be like agony and ecstasy all at once.
It was raining, so I couldn't use my phone. I couldn't scroll through anything. And Harrison texted me, and Mikey texted me, and they're like, you got in. And I was like, you better not be. This is not the time to be fucking with me. And I was able to call Harrison, and I was like, Harrison, please don't lie to me. Just tell. He's like, yeah, you're 11th out of 16. I was like, yes. Oh my God. And then the finals came around. We had a 30-minute rain delay and thunder, and then, which was hilarious because they send us back to the tent. We can't do anything, literally anything. We're huddled in this circle of chairs on concrete with spikes on. They're like, you can't leave. You just have to sit down. And we're like, we have to sit down? Like, you can't run. We're about to run world champs. Like, what are you talking about here?
And it was kind of like indefinite. Like, you just didn't know how long it was going to be.
Yeah, it took forever, and they let us warm up on the track for like 6-7 minutes. But I was like, this is not good. So I just started making fun of people because I was like, I don't know how. Well, what else? What am I supposed to do here with this time? And then I started blaming the Swede who actually went to actually go and win the race. So I maybe went a little too hard on the guy. He got a little pissed, but I was like, "This is your fault. You brought the weather with you. Like this is the Swedish weather, isn't it?" Then people started railing on him, and then he went and did business. But it was fun, 7th place, and then I drank so much afterwards I threw up and passed out at 6:20 p.m. And
What
we were
was
taking
your drink of choice or did you mix
everything.
things?
Oh, I had a shot of Swedish death water, which is called aquavit, and then I also
Okay,
had
yeah.
I don't like shots and lots of wine and lots of beer. It started off by 3 Heinekens. I was chugging 3 Heinekens right after the race. That was the start of the end. 3 beers got me drunk pretty quickly after not drinking for like 4 months. But anyway, it was a fun time, and more importantly, we have season 1 awards with an interesting introduction and song or whatever that is in recap of season 1. But I'm pretty excited about this. We've created our own categories to some extent, but largely we've stolen some.
Yeah, you gotta take what you can and come up with what you can. And well, I mean, I think we did a good job on this list. We can kind of run through it, but yeah, we have basically what 49 movies that we're kind of pulling from here.
Do we? Is it that many? Oh, 49 because the 11. That's right. These go to 11. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my list, I tried to curate. I tried to not have too much overlap. Like, I mean, my idea of this was to kind of celebrate a lot of the movies that we talked about over this past season and kind of highlight some
Yeah.
of those moments. But I still like they're not always going to be like for instance like whatever best picture. It's not going to be the atypical. It's going to be the best picture to me or what I found the most enjoyable that season. Does that
Oh
make
yeah, I don't
sense?
care about you. I don't care about any human watching this. So this is not like, the conversation of what is the greatest film of all time or what is your favorite film of all time. Those are very different things. So I would say like objectively, if I had to do like greatest film of all time, people would often say like Godfather 1 or 2. Like,
Yeah.
and I get that. I understand it. Or like a Shawshank Redemption. Like I get it. But like that's not my favorite film of all time, although they're pretty high. But like this to me, yeah, like my list is going to be ridiculed for sure. Like there's no doubt about it. But go create your own fucking podcast, children, and create your own award show around your podcast if you want to decipher my words. But anyway, I like my picks, but I didn't care about duplicative things. And to be honest with you, I might even change it on the fly here.
Ooh, but once you say it, it's locked in. It's set in stone. It's chiseled. It's on the glasses.
Also, these glasses are not prescription, so I hope I can read what I've written down. So we'll see if this works. But why don't we go through? I like my setup. I didn't particularly like your setup, to be honest with you, because you were like you were off to the races, and the way you did your 1 through 20, like
Why
you're
don't you
like
explain
let's
that? Explain
let's
that for the viewers. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we created a list of 20 categories, and Steven was like, let's start off with best picture, and then best director, and then best actor. I'm like, why don't we leave that for last, first of all?
No, you read my list wrong because when we had a pre-conversation, you said mark the one as the one you want to be the last and kind of go in that order. And that's how I ranked it. Yeah.
No, I mean,
That's our conversation.
no, the conversation was rank them as you would present them. But anyway, well, if that's the case, we might be fairly similar. But who knows?
Well,
I may
I
say,
basically just copied and pasted your list and used that same order. So we're going to be in the
how
same
dare
order.
you? How dare you? You saw my list? You
No,
saw my award show?
I blurred my eyes so I couldn't see anything. Copied and pasted. Promise you, I didn't see anything, Jonathan. Don't worry.
How do you know where to copy and paste if your eyes were blurred? What is eyes
Because it was
blurring? You went to the
because it
doctor.
would.
You got eye drops. What is happening here?
No, it's like a magic eye book. You just blur your eyes a little bit and you can't see.
You know what? I
It's-
can't do a magic eye book.
Really?
Isn't this is very sad. In seventh grade, I realized I'm not lying. Oh, this is gonna take some time to process, but I have tried, and I've had friends, and
Trying to
like
teach you?
ridiculing. Like you put it like close to your nose for 30 seconds, and you let it go back X number of feet. Nothing has worked, and I don't know if it's color blindness. Does it work for you? You're colorblind.
No, it works for me. I mean, I don't have a
It
Neanderthal
works for
brain.
you.
Yeah.
You could see the magic stuff.
You just
Ah!
you just cross your eyes a little bit and then kind of like let.
Fucking saying you do this, you do that, blah blah blah. It doesn't work for me. I swear to you, I've tried hours trying to do this. I'm still at angst with this. I made it my job to get it to work, and it never did ever. I've never
Wow.
once looked at it and be like, people, and then people would be like, "Wow, this looks fantastic! Look at the unicorn!" And I'm like, "What fucking unicorn? I don't even like unicorns, but I want to see that goddamn thing." Makes me so angry. I don't even want to talk about this. I'm gonna get worked up. But anyway, I like the idea of an award show. We'll have one for each 25 episodes, which is going to be our comprising a season. But we've picked a good batch of movies, I think, and humans
Yeah.
to act in.
Yeah, this list, I mean, you have some all-time like critical all-time greats. You have some a lot of these movies like kind of we talked about throughout the season, like they were first watches for me.
Yeah,
Um, we have some action films, we have some comedy. I mean, it's a good cornucopia, if you will, of different types of movies.
I would say so. I'm very much looking forward to season 2 awards and beyond.
So
So I think we're gonna,
here's the list. You want me to go down the list of movies that we're going to be talking about,
sure,
just that
Bob.
we can pull from? Okay.
Sure, Bob.
So we have, this is the list: Planet of the Apes, Drop Dead Fred, Crimson Tide, Across the Spider-Verse, The Holdovers, The Rock, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, Mortal Kombat, Incendies, Eight Men Out, This is Spinal Tap, The Shining, Point Break, Snatch, The Truman Show, Apocalypse Now, Perfume, In the Loop, Coco, Lock, Sideways, Primer, Jaws, After Hours, 10 Things I Hate About You. That's the first part. That was my list that I had to talk about this season. And your list comprises of The Wicker Man, 1973, Nothing But Trouble, Hunt for Red October, The Boy and the Heron, Past Lives, Con Air, Bad Boys, Assassin's Creed, Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, The Natural, Chinatown, The Beach, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Gattaca, Full Metal Jacket, Killer Joe, Wag the Dog, What Dreams May Come, Swimming to Cambodia, The Trip to Italy, Clerks, Independence Day, La Haine, Ron.
How long do you think you could do that for? Like, if your job was to just read off titles of things forever, how long do you think you would be in that job? How much would it take to get, like, if you got paid 500,000 a year for the rest of your life, but you had to do it for 10 years straight, and you like 9 to 5? How long can you last?
I would get paid how much?
500K a year, but you're just doing nothing but that.
Oh, I'd do it probably for 10 years, save up money, then retire. That's no brainer. Easy money. 8 hours a day?
You think you would enjoy that job? Or you just like rattling off titles of things?
Yeah, I'd probably like try different accents out, like try and get, just play with a little bit. It's
Let's say that they were all like porn titles. Like, would that make it better or worse? Like testicles inside of her, part 2.
I think they just become words at that point, and
Do they?
yeah, with no meaning behind it.
Holy clitoris, part 8. Like, no. You think those are just words, Steven? That's somebody's clitoris.
It's the title, man. I think every
Caleb.
movie can have a play on a porn title. I think that's a fact.
That's a fact. I'm gonna change into my cooler glasses.
Uh-oh.
I think these
Do
are
it.
these are the way to go, even though I can't see as well clearly. But what do we have up first? I would love to get into our first category here and stop shooting the shit.
Okay.
But I don't know what yours is first and mine is first, but I have best screenplay. What are your thoughts
I
on
have the
best
same. I have the
screenplay?
same list as you, Jonathan. We got best screenplay. We're going down. We're going down the list.
Well, you've already seen my awards and my
I have
sanctions,
not.
and
I have not seen your awards. That's why I wanted to be clear
you
about this.
you tell everybody what we're working with here, who won, and tell them yours and tell them.
I
So
have
anyway,
no idea.
I the problem with this is like I feel like we should just get into it, just
Okay.
say and then explain, because if you're just to explain, you're gonna everyone who has ever seen this podcast is gonna know exactly the title, like what the name of the movie is or the actor. So anyway, best screenplay, which is actually this was probably one of the hardest ones for me, in the sense that Chinatown, for example, is considered to be one of the greatest screenplays of all time. Um, but remember what I said, children. I don't give a shit about fuck. And your opinion. This is my opinion. So go make your own goddamn podcast. My favorite screenplay of season 1 was Clerks. And I love Kevin Smith. And I know this was contentious behavior and explanation because Steven is high up on the Jaws train of things. But Clerks to me is the epitome of like a first timer having one of the greatest stabs at a screenplay. And although, there's a lot of things that could be better in the sense of the filming of the actual movie and the actors, but that screenplay is like the word vomit of Kevin Smith to a T, and I love it so much. It's my favorite screenplay, probably maybe ever.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick.
My pick. What you got? What you got?
Like I said earlier, like a lot of first time watches. Clerks was a first time watch for me. I was never a Kevin Smith head junkie, whatever you want to call it.
Crazy.
It just, whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, Clerks
you're a
was
loser.
great. I'm gonna be more of a winner after this awards show. But yeah,
These
I'm
are
sticking.
opinions, and mine are facts.
I'm sticking with the cold hard canon here, and I chose Chinatown, which you just derided as yes, it's the best. Blah 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 blah. But technically speaking, it is a wallop of a screenplay with just great lines, great dialogue, great setup, just amazing. So yeah, that's my pick. I'm standing
Yeah.
by it. Chinatown.
Over to you for Chinatown. Why don't you run it back for best costume and makeup,
Best.
by the way, which we're lumping together.
I thought it was best editing was next, but we'll do best costume and makeup. Sure.
Oh, it is best
Um,
editing. I'm not wearing glasses. Also, Neanderthal. Come on.
uh, one second here. So my best editing. Another not a first time watch, but watching it again. Just the stylization. The I just thought the editing was fantastic in the French film La Haine. Um,
Mm, look at that.
beautifully shot, beautifully edited.
I did like the editing, and I would say that Lahane was high up there, but I like the piecing together in the differences that Spielberg did with Jaws. I just thought that was the best editing to me.
Yeah, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about. I mean, if
Yeah,
there's something that I disagree with, it's going to be your opinion that I disagree with, not facts here. But yeah,
yeah,
Jaws is great.
yeah. I love Jaws. Not as much as you though. So I'll go with best costume design, considering the fact that I was about to be there to begin with. I don't think that you can really debate this for the 49 movies that we had, and we were supposed to have 50, of course, but episode 11, and this is Spinal Tap, made it one less. But with that being said, Ron, I don't see what costumes were better in makeup. I mean, I guess technically the makeup on some of the humans there to look older than they were was not the greatest in my opinion, but it's an older flick. Actually, it's not that old to be honest. But like the best costume design by far, it's Ron for sure. I don't think it's a debate here.
I
On
mean,
a
I
hot
can debate it with my pick. I like Ron. I think that was beautiful, beautiful movie, beautiful
yeah,
costumes. But I'm going with kind of what started the
Planet of the Apes.
idea of costume and makeup, and that they actually created an Academy award for it. Was Planet of the Apes. Um, just incredible, amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yep. I could have guessed. Could have guessed. Yeah, it's nice. They did. They made a few furry bunnies for that movie. Yeah.
A lot more than that. A lot more than that.
Did they? What else did they make?
Well, I mean, you have they're not furry bunnies, they're monkeys, they're apes. I get what you're saying.
No, I was JK and do you say that? JK? Just JK and
Nobody says that.
I think I just made it up. Um I mean I have to get to one of my favorites.
Best
Best quote.
quote?
Yeah.
I'll go
I mean
first.
okay, you go first.
All right, my best quote, my favorite quote, was from the movie Ron, and it's just so simple. Man is born crying. When he has cried enough, he dies. It's poetry to me, man. It's poetry.
Yeah. I that's good. It's a very good one.
Yeah.
I have I take the opposite end of the spectrum of seriousness. And to be fair, I don't really have an answer for this one, but I just have a movie, and it's interchangeable. And if you want to choose one, you could say these go to 11. But this is Spinal Tap is the most quotable movie of all time to me. And if you catch me on any different Wednesday, it might be a different quote from that movie. So I don't like. You take a jog to the left, like we don't have time for that. Like for example, could be up there with one of my favorite quotes of all time as well. So it's like I don't know. The whole movie is just a big running tabulation of quotes. So I'm gonna put the award as the whole movie as this is Spinal Tap. But I guess if you
You
were
can,
gonna say one, these go to 11 would have to
yeah.
be would have to be it.
I can't argue with your pick there. I can't. I mean,
Yeah, it's the most quotable movie ever. It's just there's a
correct.
reason that we dressed up and had one single episode to go over one movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
What about
it was fun.
scariest? Scariest
Scary
scene?
as everyone knows, we don't particularly enjoy the horror flicks, even though better keep on a lookout. Maybe we have a returning guest coming up shortly next month in October to catch a horror flick. And if
Shout
you
out
have any
Andrew.
recommendations, we would love to know what you guys want us to watch. And to be fair, neither of us are really that scared in like scary movies. I want to be scared, frightened. The Exorcist in 7th grade scared the living shit out of me. If anyone has something like that, feel free. Talk to her. Talk to me is the UK recent film that I thought was actually pretty good in the
I need
horror
to watch it.
venue
Yeah.
of things. So anyway, scariest is definitely The Shining. I mean, it's creepy, scary. The music, it's also another one of those things. I think we have scariest scene, but I don't know. I mean, it's definitely The Shining. Even the creepiest scene of like the bathroom, for example, or the maze at the very end. I mean, there is just a ton. Or the window scene where Miss Shelley Duvall is trying to get out the window, and like,
Yeah. Here's Johnny.
oh my god. Take any of those, but The Shining definitely the creepiest, scariest. I would say.
Yeah. This is one where we overlap, and
Look at that.
it's The Shining for me too. I mean, we didn't really have too many.
We had one movie.
I mean, could you count like Mortal Kombat? There's some scary stuff in there, right?
I thought of the final like Apocalypse Now with
Yeah,
Marlon
it's
Brando
creepy.
scene, but I was like, that's creepy, but not scary per se. Like, yeah, it's pretty much one answer. Um, but yeah, that The Shining, just the music, it really does it to me. Didn't particularly like it too much in the sense of like Kubrick made it uncomfortable. So we came up with a new category. Like, I don't know if this is good or bad, but best should be a meme. And I tried to come up with something interesting here, but this was actually much harder than I was expecting. Like way harder than I was expecting. But what are your thoughts? What did you think that
So,
like inside the movie? It could be the entire movie, whatever you want. But this
so
should be
what my purpose on this, because I can't go back and just like find stills or think of
yeah
things that are just like punch out. So I go to this website called Giphy, GIFPHY or whatever, and you can just type in any movie. And I typed in
yeah
a bunch of movies that we talked about this season, and I was trying to find one that I just really gravitated towards. And there was two actually that I picked from the same movie that kind of go hand in hand with each other, which I will send to you right now via WhatsApp so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. I don't know if you can actually click on that or not, but it's from Nothing But Trouble, and it's Dan Aykroyd trying to eat a hot dog, a dog,
yeah
um, and
yeah.
it's just
That's burned in my brain.
it's a searing image of that. And then the other meme would be the reaction from Chevy Chase of him kind of looking at that. So
Yeah,
that's my best meme worthy moment of the season.
I just for whatever it's worth, I thought of excellent. By the way, I mean Nothing But Trouble is probably the collectively that and Spinal Tap the best meme worthy of the movies we have. Except for whatever reason, I don't know. I just remember the scene when tomatoes were being cut up and women on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and I felt like that could be applied in many different types of ways, such as like it could be applied for people violently wanting to cut people up, like being in anger. But I was thinking more of the line of people falling asleep with a tomato sauce or
The
the
barbiturates.
the gazpacho.
Yeah.
The application of it, I don't know how that would be, but I thought it would be a pretty fun meme because I remember how red it was. Um, I love tomatoes too. I had a tomato salad today. It was delectable.
You used to not like tomatoes from what I remember. It's one of those things you forced yourself to like.
That is correct, but this was prior to me knowing you that I forced myself to like them. I forced myself to like olives, mushrooms, and tomatoes and coffee. I was
Coffee.
like the
Wow.
typical redneck from Florida. Like, I don't like them olives and that coffee. And then I had the self awareness to be like, huh, these individuals over here who seem to be, I think, fancy appear to like olives, mushrooms, and tomatoes. And they're candidly talking about this Ethiopian coffee. And they don't seem to take any sugar or cream with it. And so like I took that and like, oh, this is interesting over here in these parts. And I was like, I'm going to force myself to be a part of this group. And so I forced myself to, I was like, this is good for you. This is good for you. And then I love tomatoes, olives, and mushrooms now and coffee.
Did you know, like at the time, like that would work? Like the end result would happen, that you would like it, or you just kept going?
I have a interesting brain, and I think everyone pretty much does can do this. I am able to convince myself of pretty much anything. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Like reframing of like working really hard like the last few months for running, I reframed everything where I was like talking to Will Lear and I was eating like my daughter's gummy and I was like I'm just gonna spit like first of all I shouldn't have broken down to even have the gummy to begin with, but I did, and then I spit it out. I did that with the piece of chocolate too. This probably sounds like I'm anorexic and like going through some issues, maybe, but I convinced myself that this was what I needed to do, and I convinced myself that tomatoes, olives, and mushrooms were delectable, and they are. So there's that.
It's so interesting. Um,
Is it? It's not really that interesting. What do you got
to
for
me, it
best
is.
moment? Can I go first?
That, yeah, you should go first on this one.
So my favorite moment, and there were multiples from this actual movie. And I thought of honestly, I can be swayed probably with your pick on best moment because when there is a best moment, it's going to be shared, I think, to some extent. But to me, my best moment, like it gets me like emotional, even watching the movie or just like thinking about it. But when Ethan Hawke is in Gattaca, is able to go to space, like the totality of the whole movie come to fruition, and the doctor being like, Well, you got to hold it with your other hand, bud. Um, and that moment of realization of him going to space was it's my favorite moment. I could have actually from the same movie, um, and I guess
The swimming
simultaneously
scene.
the swimming scene, but I don't know
Yeah.
the that is the precursor to it, but like the actualization of him actually achieving his dream, that's kind of what I like more.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
Gattaca was one of my. I was debating between a few of these. Gattaca was there. Truman Show obviously has some just amazing moments, but I went with a little bit more somber, and it's a moment that hit me like a ton of bricks. And it's the last scene of Past Lives where she's walking away, and it's just that the camera's just following her,
Hmm.
the slow walk away from her childhood friend, crush, love, whatever. And it's just that realization for her that that chapter's closed and she's moving on to her new life. And it just, I don't know. It just, it's beautiful to me.
It is beautiful. Best sad moment? Moments are momentous.
Moments can be a lot of different emotions, obviously, but yeah, that's mine. What about I guess we're on to like some of the heavy hitter categories. Best supporting
Heavy
actor.
best supporting actor. If I had to guess, we are in line, and I literally don't think there's a debate to be had here. Like quite literally in the list that we have,
I'm
and
so
quite
interested in who
literally,
you chose. I don't know if we shared the same, but
Thomas
yeah.
Hayden Church in Sideways is the best supporting actor, and I honestly don't know who would be better. And this would even go up against like not every Oscars ever, but like he did win, so there's that. He's pretty good, but for this list, it's he's my guy, Thomas Hayden Church from Sideways for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even think about this one. There was no thought process put into it. Like it was just it worked. Like it was when one of my first picks. It was just like I know I
Yeah,
already know
yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
It actually was my first pick too. I saw it and I was like, I went for the easiest ones, then I filled them in. This was the first one. I was like,
Yeah,
this is easy. There's like I don't even need to think about the rest. But yeah, Thomas Hayden Church. This best supporting actress, mine is a very minor role, but I actually love her to death. I just I don't know. I love her to death. She's been repeated over and over, but I'm curious you to go first on your best supporting actress. Who do you think was the best? The best of the best.
mine's I don't know if it's a recency bias or what, but this is a movie that I'll probably watch every time during the holidays. The Holdovers, and it's Joy Divine Randolph,
Mm.
who just it was my first time ever like really seeing her. I'd never seen her in anything else, but she had so much depth and emotion, and acting toe to toe with Paul Giamatti in that film. Like she held her own. It was fantastic.
That's a good
Joy.
choice. Yeah, yeah, it's great. Mine's very different. And so my best supporting actress is I don't know how to say her first name, but Chus Lampreve from Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, and she's the bag lady at the first floor, who gets repeated over and over in as a character in many of Pedro's movies. But I just love her so much. I
She's
just
great.
deep,
She
deep.
is a scene stealer, Jonathan.
So anyway, over to what we have coined the LOL award. And I don't know what that means, but to me it just meant a really fucking hilarious movie, but also one that at least to me was like that gut wrenching. And I
Yeah.
didn't be honest, I didn't choose This Is Spinal Tap. Probably I guess from your initial like duplicative things, but like I just thought my type of humor, one in which that like kind of like roll off the tongue type of movie, this is it for me. But I'm curious what you think about yours and what is your LOL award?
My LOL award is a movie that had me literally laughing out loud at many scenes, but also heartfelt. But like I'll just go to like how this writer sets up a scene and sets up the joke is Kevin Smith and Clerks, and I go back to that bathroom scene where she has sex with the rigor mortis dead man in the bathroom and comes out, and it just plays so well, and it's just so fucking funny. So Clerks is my LOL award.
Wow, that's shocking. My LOL award was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. The amount of lines and like the scenarios that actually exist and just depravity, like everything that comes together at the end, everyone just ends up dying basically. I don't know. Something might be wrong with me, but I laugh hysterically when things are going to be a particular way and then they end up being like completely wrecked. Like everyone's plans are just wrecked. It makes me laugh hysterically. But I love British humor, and anyone who still is out there that thinks that Snatch is better than Lockstock, you're a moron and you're wrong.
They're close, right?
Nope. No.
Not even a little bit.
I think there's a wide gap between them, but I have an interesting one for best what the fuck moment, which happened
Yeah.
like 76 times in this movie. it's the totality of the movie where I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And you're probably thinking it's one movie, but it's actually another movie. You could actually probably choose one of two. I first had After Hours, where I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what I did more what the fuck moments? Problemista, where I was just like, is he climbing upstairs? Where are those? What is happening right now? Like, is this a reenactment in his head? Is he not in his, like, I don't know. What the fuck is happening? I said that out loud I don't know how many times, but more so than any other movie that we watched, and probably more so than maybe we're ever going to watch, unless we get the Holy Mountain.
I do agree with that, but that would be a season 2 award because that's episode 27.
Oh, is it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I changed it. So I'm going to stick with that. Is After Hours part of
Yes, After Hours is good.
So we'll do how did that get wrapped in there? My vision is blurry. But
That's
God
right.
damn it. We'll have a shared award, I guess. But no, After Hours then I guess would have to take the cake to some extent.
Yeah.
Weirdness.
It's mine is the reason why I picked this as a For You film was basically like because it has this what the fuck moment, and it's the scene in Killer Joe with the chicken wing, and he's just letting her have at it, and yeah, it just was a what the fuck is going on in this movie?
Yeah. Yeah, I like that scene. I like the violent scenes I can handle, and I don't really like get those moments of like what the fuck, like Old Boy, like he's just like destroying people with a hammer.
This is violent, but also sexual, and it was just yeah, all the weird what the fuck kind of feelings you get from it.
Yeah. So heavy hitters, here we come, and probably my favorite of all time. Although I, to be honest with you, I actually thought about this and I was like, this is so unoriginal, but I was like, I have to just choose. But it's best haircut, if I'm reading this correctly. But best haircut,
Yeah.
super happy and excited to give my pick, which is Ace Ventura, clearly, who has I think the best haircut of anyone here. But I wanted to go back and think through this one, but then I was like, no, I because I wanted to go, this is Spinal Tap, but I was like, no, fuck it, I gotta stick with Ace. It was so revolutionary, and yeah, it's an easy one to pick, but it's got to be my pick.
I didn't even think it. Like I don't know why I didn't think of Ace because I was already gravitating towards one pick. Well, the first inclination that I had was the first scene in What Dreams May Come in Robin Williams, but that was more of a wig than a haircut, and it just, because it looks so fake. But yeah, Ace. I mean, I was Ace Ventura as a kid for Halloween. I was Ace Ventura earlier this year for a podcast. Like I dressed up like Ace. You know what I mean? But
I'm
and
Mike
that's a great
Loud.
pick. Yeah, with those glasses, you kind of are. But yeah, I went Nigel for This Is Spinal Tap.
Makes
He's got the
sense.
great kind of mullet thing going on. It's fantastic.
It makes sense. I mean, you can't go
Yeah.
wrong. That was my 1 and 2 picks. Basically, I was debating between those two. I'm glad I chose Ace though. So, best actor to me is clearly definitive, and the exact reason that you were making this spreadsheet and I had lots of issues with it because it left out this human in particular, who I still to this day adamantly think that he should have received an Oscar nod or more so like a win, especially for the. And you could choose a multitude of roles, especially like Waiting for Guffman. But Christopher Guest, in my opinion, and this is Spinal Tap, is the greatest acting performance on this season by far. Now, I understand that other people, such as Jack Nicholson, have won Oscars, but like to me, I don't know another performance. Like he does it so. See, it's kind of like Spielberg in the way he shoots a film that you don't even notice how complex a shot is until it's broken down for you. That's
Yeah,
how I
you're right.
feel. That's how I feel about Christopher Guest and what he did in This Was Spinal Tap. You actually go watch him in anything else, or just being interviewed, and you'd be like, "Oh, this is not." He is very different person. Like this is a whole buildup, and all the characters really did well, but Christopher Guest needed to win an Oscar, especially for this role. It's unreal. Big fan.
I agree with you. Even like outside of the movie when he does interviews and I mean things like that. Like I posted a few things on Instagram, and he just he nails it. He
Yeah,
nails it.
fantastic.
He is that character. He's Nigel. Um, so funny. Anyways, my best actor. I'm going a little bit more. I mean, you're valid. Like I don't think
Just an opinion.
any of those kind of performances will ever win the Academy Award. I wish those kind
No.
of would, or at least be
Yeah.
celebrated a little bit more. Um, but I'm going with a heavy hitter with Denzel in Crimson Tide. It's just, he killed it, and him and Gene Hackman that's a movie that I could watch probably like once a year and just be happy.
It's a good one. It's a good one, yeah. I like sub movies. I went through the phase of just anything underwater I wanted to watch, basically. Except
Have you seen
Avatar.
The Abyss? That's not a submarine movie, but yeah.
I love The Abyss. The Abyss, Sphere, big fan. Yeah, something weird. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Is it 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Is it
Yeah, it's
40,000?
20. It's 20. Yeah.
Don't even know. Not drunk, by the way. Um, Best actress. I thought this was definitive for me. I didn't think maybe I could be swayed, but to me, Shelley Duvall gave the best performance that I can really point to in these 49 movies, and I thought it was pretty clear for me, especially
I'm on the
knowing
same page.
knowing what she went through as well. That after our podcast, like, and I must have looked her up a lot over like the last few months because I keep going back to her, and then like the algorithm is providing me stuff about like her
Shelley
experience,
Duvall.
and I was like,
Yeah.
it's got to be Duvall for sure. It's unreal. It was great.
It's I don't think you can capture that kind of terror in a performance from anybody else.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Oh
R.I.P.
yeah,
Shelley Duvall.
where's our scene stealer? I think I've removed it, but what are your thoughts on scene stealer?
Well, yeah, I didn't give it much thought because it was removed. But
I mean, you
uh,
had one, didn't you?
well, no, I just had the category. I didn't really put any thought
Oh,
into it.
hmm.
But it would be for me, uh, just looking at this list, is Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, that was weird in a good way. I might actually agree with that. I had a preconceived notion that my scene stealer was going to be me because I wanted to steal his category and throw it away. So that was my scene steal. But yeah, Dave Chappelle, 16 minutes if memory serves, he shows up and he's just like, "I'm here acting, ad-libbing lines like with all of the characters or the actors that were on that plane at the moment." I was like, "What the fuck?" It was more like a what the fuck moment, but like what is happening right now? Dave Chappelle is just randomly acting. What is that? It's crazy.
Great casting choice. You got to, I mean, putting him in that movie, it's a bonkers movie to begin with. but having that kind of humor inserted in there just adds to the texture of the film. So yeah, Dave Chappelle, Con Air, can't go
Good
wrong.
stuff. And our next two, we got big plans here. Best director and best picture. This is where everyone's
This is where the
buttholes
rubber meets the
are framed up.
road.
That's right. I like mine more if I would have been able to not be interrupted, but where your butthole starts to pucker on your seat. And you're like, ooh, I got something coming. Got 40 people in the crew and the cast. Just like, are we going to do it this year? But for
Gotta
me,
pinch off a loaf.
best director is difficult for the amount of movies that we have here. But to me, knowing the backstory of how this movie was made and the storyboards that were required and the amount of information that was like presented with the human being going blind at the time, Kurosawa's Ron. Just the directing of it was unbelievable to me, and I think the best director was Mr. K for sure.
Yeah, there was a top 3 or 4 that I was kind of going for, and yeah, Ron was right up there. But I got to go with my boy Francis with Apocalypse Now, and just watching Hearts of Darkness and like all of the things. I mean, we could talk for hours about the making of this film because we actually get to see all of the trouble that went into it, and then coming away with that finished product just makes me excited to see Megalopolis, which is coming out this month. Whew. I'll be there. IMAX.
I like that how gangsta Francis is, because he put together a trailer for Megalopolis. And the trailer is literally people that hated on his previous films, such as The Godfather 1 and 2, such as Apocalypse Now. And like he takes the critic who watched the movie in advance, and then of course these movies have done a bit slightly well in the years since they've existed. And so he literally takes like the one dude, who is like shit movie, or like, this is never going to mount anything, like a rolling extravagance of blah blah blah, whatever the critic said. And then it's of that like Star Wars, or like, I think it gets smaller. And then he goes to Megalopolis, which he's basically saying, oh, you think this one's shit too? Just give it some time.
Just wait.
Yeah. I was like, that is amazing. What a trailer. Just throw it
Did
in
you
his
hear?
face. Everyone's
Did you
face.
hear about the follow up to this? What happened with this trailer? What we found out?
No, what? No.
So Lionsgate had to fire the people that made the trailer and pull it because those were fake reviews. Those were never.
Oh, were they?
They were never real. So Francis Ford Coppola is even more of a G for just. Yeah, it's hilarious.
I don't like that as much. I like it if they were actual critics, because there are a lot of critics saying that Megalopolis sucks. But that's,
And it probably does. It probably. I mean, he
yeah.
literally went out and like handpicked like these canceled actors like Shia LaBeouf, and he's like, I want you in my fucking movie because I want to show these people that you can still do it. And like, I don't give a fuck about that. Whatever.
I don't know if that's a good reason. I mean, John Travolta in Pulp Fiction was that.
I don't think he was canceled. He was just kind of like, he was in the desert. He wasn't.
He was in no like he had nothing. He had nothing going for
Yeah.
him. And Tarantino's like, oh yeah, he can act. Let's do this. Best picture. So the best movie of what you think was the collectively the best movie. And this isn't necessarily the best movie for me to watch over and over, but like one stop shop, best picture, which is how I really perceive this. And it goes to the previous category of Ron, in Kurosawa. I just think it was the best. There's one like 3-minute section of that film where I was just like, how like, literally, how is this possible? It's unreal. Like I don't really get what's happening. Just the arrows. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many how is this being completed thing without CGI that I was so impressed by. I still think about it a lot. But Ron is.
Yeah. That's a great pick.
10 things
wow.
I hate about 10 things I hate about you. Is that what you're going with?
Man, best director and best picture, both the same title. I like it. That's,
Yeah.
It's like almost a sweep of the. But mine is again, it's the movie that I had the most fun with. The movie that kind of like just like I just vibed with and like was like really excited to talk to you about. And that's Women on the Verge. I thought
Oh,
that thought that movie just like it. I've never really sat with a Almodovar film like that before. Like it just opened my eyes, and like I said, I want to watch more of his picks. But yeah,
he's
that
fantastic.
movie.
Yeah. So then we've created 4 new categories that are weird, to be fair, but best potential video game adaptation. I actually thought about this a lot, and this was a tough one. We can't really pick Mortal. I guess you can pick Mortal Kombat, but how would a video game turned into a movie turned into back in a video game really last? But I'm curious, what did you choose? So best video game adaptation.
So best video game adaptation. I did think about this was probably the one that I like changed the
This is
most.
hard. This is very
I wrote something down, thought about it. No, this, that, and the other. So mine is a little different. I want to explain this to you.
okay.
It's going to be kind of like like almost like a fantasy puzzle RPG kind of game, and that's what Dreams May Come.
Oh,
Uh,
interesting.
I want to go to the afterlife, and I want
Yeah,
to try
yeah.
and find my wife and have that goal. Like there's a clear set goal and a path that this hero has to go on this journey, and I think it would be fun to play with those like just heavenly landscapes
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that.
So I can go so many different types of ways with this. I mean, I've thought about Jaws, for example. It seems pretty like an easy one. Problemista would also be a fun one to do, and creating. Oh, that's right, that's 27. But like Ace Ventura as well. But I don't know. I think it'd be really cool to like move like a morphing Guitar Hero type thing with this is Spinal Tap. And being the characters of Spinal Tap and playing a band, uh, and just what idiotic type of thing and behavior you can get into. I think of them moving around. Like, do you ever play the game Space Quest?
I can't think that
Probably
I
not.
have no.
Space Quest 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. Huge fan of that. I used to play it obsessively, like in 10th or 11th grade. I want to say it was really cool, and that's how I perceive the graphics to be. Um,
Okay.
it's very fun humor, but this is Spinal Tap would be in that type of format. But I just think it would be ridiculous. Like
Did you ever play Guitar Hero?
I did, but I never liked it. I thought it was just go play a guitar. I mean, even though it's like vastly different, I just didn't understand it. I still don't. But
What
nonetheless,
about Dance Dance Revolution?
didn't do that either. Yeah, that was a little after my time.
Yeah,
I
me
wasn't
too.
playing
Well,
like
I
Mortal
did
Kombat.
Guitar Hero. I never did. I thought once they brought in more of the instruments, like they did rock. Was it Rock Band or something like that?
Mhm.
Yeah. You have electric drums. It's like just form your own fucking band. Like what do you?
Yeah.
You need 4 people. Like you got 4 people that'll just do it. I don't know.
So we got 3 categories left, my friend. Let's keep the Golden Glasses Award for last. How about that? Did you
Okay,
fill in for anything for the last 2 that
I
I made
did.
up?
Yeah,
Oh, you did.
well, you just sent me these. You didn't give me any explanation. I mean, one of them was pretty
I'll
self-explanatory.
give you the explanation now for all 3. That's what I was going to do, actually. So the
Okay.
Bizarro, I would hope that you would understand exactly what that one is about. So this guy is so fucked. Is basically, I guess it could really be whatever you want it to be, but in the moment where maybe it was a Killer Joe, for example, of like, like this guy's so fucked. Like Thomas Hayden Church is so fucked. He or whatever it might be in this situation. Or it could be like totality of human beings. Like, oh no, like things are about to unravel very quickly for this individual, and maybe a potential maiming is going to occur, or he cheated on his wife and like, oh no, everything is unraveling in his life and this guy's so fucked, whatever it might be. But
Yeah.
that's the premise. And then lastly, Bizarro, but I want to frame the Golden Glasses Award, and this is how I thought of it, because glasses to me are like symbolic of like enlightenment, I would say, in the sense
Okay.
that you could, I guess, go the route of, you know, using what is the best glass, who had the best glasses. But to me, I left with saying the Golden Glasses Award was a movie I stopped watching and I felt more enlightened or changed by. And then like my it broadened my horizons and my landscape, and that's how I kind of think of the Golden Glasses Award. And we'll start off with Bizarro though first. How about that?
Okay. All
I'll
right.
go first.
Now I don't know if I need to change my golden glasses. It might be the same
Okay.
for what I already had.
I'll kill some time here. My Bizarro pick, I don't think there's there's nothing but trouble, and that's it. Like, what happened in the creation of this with Dan Aykroyd? Like, what a weird film. And problem again, it's the 27th, but like After Hours had many of those examples, but like it was so bizarre in so many different types of ways. You have Digital Underground, just I don't know. There's like 1,000 examples of why this is a weird movie, and Nothing But Trouble is definitely my Bizarro pick by far.
I thought about this. That's a great pick, and I agree on all fronts there. And I think about this Bizarro, where this is kind of what I had in the back of my mind was you buy 2 tickets to a movie, you're taking a date, and you have no idea what this movie is about, and you sit down in the theater and you watch it.
Yeah,
And what movie could be like, what the fuck are we watching? And my movie is none other than Swimming to Cambodia. It's so fucking punk rock. Um, a guy sitting at a table doing a monologue. I mean, uh, that's that's it. That's it.
yeah. That's
And
a
you
good.
don't know where it's going. It goes so many different places.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my Bizarro award.
Yeah. Imagine if you were just like going to watch a movie and then like he just shows up live and you're like, wait, what's happening? This is what? Wait, huh? Honey, did you get tickets? And you just start
What's going
fucking.
on?
Yeah. So this guy is so fucked. So I guess it's one movie, but there's multiple scenes. It's more like this guy is so fucked, and these guys are so fucked, and that's the movie Perfume, and the unleash of the perfume was like, oh my god, this is going to be bad. And also, I have to jump in with when him, you know, it's all downhill from there. But like that scene is chaotic to say the least. But this guy's so fucked, or these guys are so fucked, was lovely scene.
Yeah. My initial inclination for this was Jaws, because they,
Yeah.
that everything that happens. I also thought
Right.
about Coco with Ernesto and like just being caught in a lie in front of people. Um, but I went with Perfume as well.
Yeah, just
And that, I mean, those people are like the end scene when he douses himself with the
yeah,
scent and the people come like he's fucked. He's fucked.
God. Oh, I mean, oh my God, awful scene, awful. And look where we are. Golden Glasses Award. So basically, this is again the meaning behind this, at least to me, was a fun one, but it's just like you left enlightened, and it's not necessarily the best picture, but it's one that like really changed my perspective or your perspective on what movie making really is. And to me, pretty much exactly as the points you've already made about this movie just a second ago, Swimming in Cambodia, it really changed my perspective on what is possible, and it also opened me up to how somebody could possibly speak that well and captivate an audience with their voice. And I know that comedians do it, but not at this level. And the amount of work that actually went into it, I mean, I think he did like 220 shows to perfect this. And he's done many of them, but Spalding Gray might be the best storyteller of all time. I mean, he's terrific. But that opened my eyes to and enlightened me about what
Yeah.
is possible out there. That's what I got for
I mean, that's great pick. And that was a movie again, never even heard of before this season. And I think it was one of those you kind of told me not to look anything up. I didn't, and captivating. And what are movies? They're all just storytelling devices, and we're all trying to tell
That's
stories. And
right.
there's many different ways to do it. And he does it so captivating for just a person being on stage with a notebook and a pointer.
It's crazy.
But yeah, mine is I'm going to stick with mine because I thought about the way that you framed it, and I still kind of want to talk
Yeah.
about this movie. So my Golden Glasses Award for my initial thought of this was the best glasses in a film. And quintessentially, you can't argue with this pick because he wears it at boot camp. He wears it during the war. It's Joker in Full Metal Jacket. He just has those glasses on the entire time. It is the same kind that you're wearing right now.
Yeah, so that actually was my pick if it was like a simple, like these are the glasses. But yeah, that was my pick for that. But I wanted to be a little more creative.
Well, but I'm going into your creativity here, and I'm also saying like Full Metal Jacket is a film that does enlighten you to, especially after seeing Apocalypse Now, and it's like, you know, war. This is the buildup of seeing these people training to go die.
Yeah,
one of them even, you know, dies before he goes, but and just them at the very end, they're all just kids and they're singing Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
and they're supposed to be protecting our country. It's just it's war, man. What is it good for?
I don't know. Who knows? But that's it to season 2, where I can actually use Problemista next time. Problemista has been quite a problem twice. I don't know how that got shoved in there. I think I just changed it naturally.
That's okay. I already kind of know where your mind is for season 2 awards. So
nope. I'm going to throw you for a loop, buddy. And I take off my golden glasses and I put on my normal glasses. And until next time, folks,
well, hold on. What do we have for next time? What are we building towards?
The next 25 episodes, or are we talking about next round of podcasts?
Next round. What's our next topic? What's our next theme?
So I am prepared and ready to dive right into In the Clink movies. So basically prison movies. And for background on this, Steven's first inclination was to choose Shawshank Redemption, which I still find hysterical in the sense that, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Like, if you have a look, let's just get into the movie itself, I guess. But like, how can you choose against Shawshank? So like, my opinion was that I'm gonna torpedo the whole show purposely because of that choice, and so that's what I chose. A much better movie, of course, in The Longest Yard. But that's our prison movies, and it's going to be an enjoyable listen for you guys out there.
I will say this. You gave me carte blanche to pick whatever topic. You said, pick a topic, we'll do it. And you said, what's your movie? And I still had carte blanche to do whatever I wanted.
Oh, I understand. Well, you know, do you understand though why I give that to you? Because you need encouragement. Your planning isn't, I wouldn't say, as good as mine. So like, if I were to say, hey, can you give me like 6 ideas per podcast? It takes months to get through it. It takes me a lot of energy, a lot of effort to mold and push you in a way that you will find an answer. To give, the only way I can actually get an answer when I want it is to do that. So that's why that exists to begin with. And that's my rationale. Like, okay, like he takes forever to do this. The only way that he won't take forever is here. Everything is on a golden platter for you. And then in that golden platter, you choose Shawshank Redemption, which is, it's just funny. So I wanted to be funny too. So I was like, okay, I got The Longest Yard. And this is going to be fun.
I mean, I haven't seen The Longest Yard in a long time. Could be great.
Terrific. It's got Joey Diaz, man. He's supposed to, we'll talk about it on the next podcast. But yeah, In the Clink. Till next week.
What do you want to do now?
This is nothing, piece of cake!
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Cody, this is your fucking wake-up call, man! I am an FBI agent!
I know, man. Isn't it wild?
I'm not even supposed to be here today!